our legislator Kelsey, and in Coronado. I was very disappointed because he kept saying how he was really going to fight for the towns. The towns all protested because it really is just the county wanting to put something onto the town so they're not seen as charging higher taxes to people. And I mean, we all pay eventually. It's all the same people. But it's going on to the towns who can really barely afford these costs because they're not budgeted for this. For 2010, nobody is budgeted for it. So that's probably a bit of a forecast of what might be in store for next year's budget in terms of unfunded mandates, both from the county and the state. And we just need to really keep that in mind. Okay, Northern Dutchess Alliance on the 15th of September is going to have a forum which will be on protecting our water supplies, protecting our aquifers. Most of Dutchess County is wells and septic. And if anybody's interested, it will be listed. There'll be a notice on the bulletin board, but it will also be listed on the website as an event. A resident has asked if Stanford could have a dog park where dogs could run, and people could socialize and dogs could socialize. This would be a long-term project for her to work on. She is going to be putting petitions around, so if you see any petitions for a dog park and you think it's a good thing for Stanford, you might sign it. If you don't. But I just thought I would tell you that it's up in the ethos for the town. And the last thing I want to mention is that on Saturday, this coming Saturday, there's an Aaron Shanley Memorial 5K race around Hunds Lake. It was organized by a young man who went to school with Aaron. It is raising money for St. Jude's Research Hospital. If anybody there are notices around town about it. If anybody is interested, you can go at the last minute. There seem to be about 100 people so far who are going to race or walk. It's $10 if you're going to do 5K. It's $5 if you're only going to do a mile. So you can pick what you're up to. The registration is right there at Hunds Lake at 8:15 to 8:45 Saturday morning. So you can go at the last minute. There'll be an opening ceremony at 8:50, and the race will start at 9 o'clock. So that's all the supervisor's notes I have for everybody. Now we have privilege of the floor, which is when for those of you who have not been here before, it's when the public can speak. You can speak about anything you wish to speak about. It's not limited to what is on the agenda. We ask if you would please stand up. If you could identify yourself, you don't have to, but it would be nice if you did. And take no more than 5 minutes. Yes.
I'd like to approach the board and give you something, please. And I'm not going to read this time, because this board has clearly demonstrated its ability to read, judging by the paper you have to go through.
Could you identify yourself, sir?
My name is Joseph Norton.
Thank you, Dad.
I am at 232 Hobbs Lane and 204 Hobbs Lane, Clinton Corners, New York. And I'd like this to be put into the record. And I'm not sure if I have to read it to get it in the record. I hope you guys will fight. Ladies and gentlemen, I came to this board on May 13th with a matter of a barn area where animals are boarded and meat business is being conducted, meat is being sold, animals are being slaughtered that had no water, no electric. Animals are constantly wandering the public roads, causing safety issues, and it's placing them in harm's way and motorists in harm's way. If anybody drives down Hobbs Lane, you're going to see a lot of dead chickens, dead rabbits, goats running across the road, and I've included in this batch a load of photographs that the animals have escalated from being goat size now to cow size, and 250-pound plus pigs. And if you hit one of them with the kind of car I drive, it's a Hyundai, you're not going to live. My problem was I couldn't conceive why the problem kept getting worse and worse and worse after the efforts of the board to compel the building inspector to issue violations if appropriate. 2 violations were sent out by the individual on the matters I brought to the board. One is being investigated by the state right now, and this is the one I'm coming to you tonight about. I couldn't figure out why the animals kept on escalating because it was so clear I couldn't see it. The violation that the building inspector sent out is worthless. He sent it to the wrong person, the wrong house, the wrong tax grid number. I've done the corrections on page 3 of my handout, which is the violation with the correct owner, the correct address, and the correct tax grid number. Therefore, with this violation that claimed that there was junk, debris, unsafe conditions, illegal business, etc., it is absolutely unenforceable because it's flawed. I'm asking this board to realize that the May 17th building inspector's cease and desist order is flawed and defective and incapable of remedying a deteriorating situation in its present form. I'm asking the board to direct the building inspector to issue a correct and appropriate violation order and to enforce the cease and desist order at the proper location. This is a dangerous situation for residents traveling on Hobbs, as well as being unkind to the animals. Roaming animals are not appropriate on a well-traveled road. Demolition debris is supposed to be carted away and disposed of properly rather than being buried and haphazardly dumped on the property and threatening a water source. And perhaps you would realize my great quandary was to be with my grandson down at a pond that's 1,728 feet from the town road. My property, and I'm with an 8-year-old child, and 2 huge pigs come out of nowhere. And I saw that movie about Hannibal Lecter and Red Dragon, and I haven't been here long enough to know nice piggy or whatever. So I'm begging the board, we have a situation, and this is gross incompetence.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
And you made it under 5 minutes, too. Yes, sir.
Gianluito, 47 Church Lane. I was at my mother's apartment and I looked at the costs that are going to be put on the various towns and villages. I don't see, is County Legislator Kelsey here?
No.
Is he out in the hall? Well, he threw us under the voting machine, and like what he said and what he's doing, he was the chairman of this committee. I hope he comes back next month, and I think we should grill him like a hot dog because he really threw us under the voting machine with this. This is ridiculous. I mean, Rhinebeck's paying $15,000. Some of these towns are paying big money, and I want to know his rationale. I'd like him to lay this out because the way he presented himself to everybody was like he's for the towns and everything, but maybe Bill Steinhaus got inside his head. I don't know.
Thank you, Ken. Yes.
Hi, Frank Weber, Charles Drive. About 15, 20 years ago, we had a town board that was very critical of the county executive. And there was a motion made that we asked the county executive to come out and discuss these issues. And he clarified all of these issues for us. And when he left, people had an appreciation for what he was going through. So I might make a suggestion that somebody on board be authorized to ask the county executive to come out to one of the meetings, spend a half hour, 45 minutes to discuss these issues, rather than speculate on what's going on at the county level.
Thank you.
Sure.
Virginia, I just want to address Jan's concern.
Can't,
No?
probably not. If you
I'll
don't
talk to you
mind.
later, Maura.
Huh?
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Just because we're trying to keep discussion, trying to keep the meeting contained a little bit, and I think we all have feelings that, I appreciate Mr. Weber's comments as well.
I'd love to see Steinhaus
That
come.
I have written,
Don't hold your breath.
so,
He was here on an invitation last time, Jan.
All right.
He's very, very receptive to coming out. That's
Bring
the
him
experience
on.
I've had with him.
okay. All right, is there anybody else?